The Nintendo Switch Lite that was brought to us because it doesn't turn on. Are getting 15 volts, very low amperage, but nothing is coming up on the screen. So I unplugged the battery and I plugged in my own battery, and then when I plugged it in, I didn't see a power cycle, which would indicate that the system was booting, so it's not turning on. Thing on the port tester seems okay. The red spots are actually normal on a Switch Lite. We gotta get the motherboard out. Probably needed to anyway. We didn't see any signs of liquid damage. We did find a fault over here on the motherboard. This little capacitor right here is short to ground. What we do is we use a multimeter in diode mode, and we put the red probe on ground somewhere, and it injects a couple volts, and then when you test caps around the board, you can see the voltage drop. And I know from experience that cap should show up as about 0.44 volts when I do that. And when it's short to ground, it shows up as 0. Is the capacitor bad, or is that chip that it's next to bad? Capacitor removed, the short is still present. So we'll change out the chip. Okay, the short is still there. I do see a warm spot right over here. We'll check for shorts there. And maybe right over here. The capacitors that were right there were shorted. I took them both off. The short still remains the hot spot we saw on thermal. This capacitor lit up also, and it is short to ground as well. Got it. Remove that shorted capacitor there. The short on that line was gone, which also made the shorts on this line go away, which also made the short on that capacitor go away. So we did it. We found the bad guy. I got a few parts gotta put back on. I'm gonna replace the capacitor, and after that, I'm sure it will work. Now that I got all the components back on there, this is the moment of truth. We'll be looking for the meter to power cycle. That indicates that the system is booting. Turns on. Power cycle. Yes. Time to plug this in and see if we get something on the display. As much as I can do it one-handed. Look at that. It's charging. And it's booting. Booyah! I really think the thermal camera came into play big time on this one. Not that you couldn't check an entire motherboard with a multimeter trying to track down shorts, but when you get that hot spot on the thermal camera, it sure helps point you in the right direction and turn a really long project into something that was shorter. The bench time on this was a little bit longer than usual for a charging repair on a Switch Lite, but nonetheless, I'm happy that we're able to come through for our customer. If you need your Switch repaired, DVD Game Exchange in Orem, Utah, dvdgameexchange.com.